We have fun here in Bonnechere
That's what I
Valley.
said before earlier.
We are live.
Wonderful. Welcome everyone to this public meeting on June 2nd, 2026. It is 5:15 PM and I am calling this meeting to order. The applicant is David Kraftchick and Megan Pankey. Being 5:15, this meeting held by the Committee of Adjustment under Section 45 of the Planning Act is now called to order. Members are to state any pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof before items are discussed. Are there any declarations? I see none. I do need an approval and adoption of the public meeting minutes from May 20th, 2025. Moved by Tracy, seconded by Murph. Were there any errors or omissions? I see none. All in favor? Wonderful, thank you. The property owners of 582 Crimson Maple Road are proposing to relocate an addition that was built encroaching on a neighbor's property. They are seeking side yard relief from 10 feet to 2. Oh, I thought it was 3 feet. This says 2 feet.
Thought it was 3 as well.
I thought it was 3 feet.
It was supposed to be 3 feet, but then we changed it to 2.
Oh, yes, yes, just in case it is 2.9.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
they're from 10 feet to 2 feet on the addition's new location. Under section 9.2D of the local zoning bylaw, the minimum interior side yard setback is 3 meters or 9.8 feet. In this proposal, the addition will encroach into the minimum required side yard width. The actual proposed setback will need to be confirmed. This will require permission for a variance of the zoning bylaw from the 3 meter minimum requirements to a 0.6 meters to meet the proposed setback distance. The public meeting is a requirement of the Planning Act. In accordance with the Planning Act, notice must be given to all neighbors at least 10 days before the public meeting is held. Would the clerk please report on the circulation of notice?
On May 13, 2026, the notice was circulated to all property owners within the 60 meters of the subject property. The notice was also published in the Eagle Leader and it appeared in the May 13th, 2026 edition. The notice of the meeting was also posted on the township's website.
Thank you. The 10-day notice having been given, I now declare this meeting properly constituted to transact its business. Would the clerk please report on any written comments received?
One comment was received and is attached, and it reads, Erica Rice, Planning and Licensing Clerk, the Township of Bonnechere Valley, read David Kraftchick and Megan Pankey, MVA 2026-01. Without prejudice, I am writing this letter to express my opinion and concern regarding this letter, MVA 2026-01, and the side yard relief from a safety standpoint. Being the adjacent landowner, I do have some knowledge of this property. The letter's purpose references an addition that requires relocation due to the encroachment on the neighbor's property. This is understandable, but then why is 2 feet required if the addition is to be relocated? Would this not remove the encroachment and then meet the required 3 meter setback? The setbacks have been established for preliminary safety reasons such as egression and travel of first responders to perform duties in the time of an undesirable event. Does this property have any past variances or side yard setback issues? If there are any, what might they be? And how did this/they become, and when were they discovered? If yes, and then an addition was to be permitted, the homeowner would be in violation the entire time. The homeowner would do this intentionally or would want this to be. I believe that full transparency should be provided for this property to give the public a fair understanding on the reasons for the variance request. If there are any side yard issues, then an approved variance as requested, MVA 2016-01, should not be able to correct any other issues if existing. If there were a fence erected along the property line with only 2 feet of setback, does or will this create a safety issue from the standpoint of the fire chief? After all, it is right of property owners to erect fencing for a multitude of reasons. If I or future owners were to build a structure within the 3 meter setback, Would there be any concern in the event of a fire due to its proximity to the existing neighboring structure? If I or future owners wanted to have a variance to provide a 2-foot side yard setback, would it be denied due to the proximity of the addition or current structure on the neighboring property? During this entire process of discovery and communication, there has been lots of unnecessary tensions, stresses, and expenses. This has been unfair for all involved. Excuse me. The CBO has been and is diligently working with the property owners of the addition encroachment to have the issue corrected in a reasonable manner. The public is just that, the public. The township should be transparent to the public regarding this property, and if any errors were made, indicate them and accept any such finding. Regards, Kevin Grayson, 566 Crimson Maple Road.
Thank you. Do any members of the public want to speak to the minor variance?
In what regard?
Are you Mr. Kraft?
I'm Mr.
Grayson,
Gregson.
Mr.
Oh,
Grayson.
you're Mr. Grayson, okay.
I'm the long-winded worder.
No. Perfect. Hang on. Yeah, I think, yes, if you would like to speak, now would be a good time.
What would I speak to? My letter is there, so if people would like to go ahead and answer any questions within.
Yeah,
That would be great for me.
Okay,
Cause I mean, that's pretty much what I worded. I don't need to go. This is not a witch hunt or anything.
No.
Just basically, this is the way it is, but it might be something.
and when we get to comments and questions, I do have a few for the fire chief and CBO. So handy that you're both Daryl when we get there. Thank you. All right. Does the owner or agent for the property wish to speak to the minor variance?
No, I do not.
Are there any questions, comments from the Committee of Adjustment? That's us. Okay, so I have a few questions. I did like Mr. Cratchit's questions about fire setbacks.
Mr.
Grayson.
Gregson, I'm sorry, sir, I'm sorry.
No,
Do you have any concerns? I thank you so much for including that. Daryl's been so great to work with. And I applaud you trying to find a solution to a really crazy problem. And I just, for anybody watching, this was just a comedy of errors where the lot line should have been in one place and it was in another, and the property owners built with good intentions. Again, not a witch hunt, just the property lines were not where the property lines needed to be, and the addition was built. But Daryl, so are you concerned? Because there are some very valid questions.
Not so much on the fire side, because I mean, we have lots of room to loop around the other way.
Okay,
And again, it depends on where this thing is, where the fire is, right?
Yeah.
We just don't know where. I mean, it could start anywhere. So if it starts on what we call the Bravo side, then we're going to go to the left. And if it was on the Charlie side or the Delta side, we could still loop a line around there. And with regards to the fence, if it was impeding our way, we'd probably, take sections out if we had to.
wouldn't be the first time.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Right, okay, and I didn't want to say it,
Yeah.
but being a former fire chief wife, you do what you gotta do to put the fire out,
Do,
I
exactly.
know. Okay, but again, thank you for helping in a stressful situation. But does anybody else on count, like, we've got the photos, which I really appreciate. You've obviously been on site quite a few times. And I think that this is the solution that's right for the property owner and the neighbor. Is that what you're?
Yeah, and we did run a string line, Eric and I went out and we tried to extrapolate it through the building, which can be challenging. So I did tell Mr. Grayson that once the building is away, I'll go back out and run the string line to confirm the setback, to make sure that it's going to fall within the confines.
Okay,
So that's, because again, it was hard to look through the building.
Right, and again, I think that. You know, it's very easy to think, oh, my property line is there, and then all of a sudden you realize, no, it goes like this, or it goes like this.
It was complete opposite.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
That's very unfortunate, for everybody involved. And we hate, you know, tension or stresses between neighbors, especially since you don't seem to have a problem with each other, which is lovely. And seem to be working through this. John, did you have a question?
Yeah, so it involved moving a structure,
Yes,
and so does that involve a building permit, or how do you license that moving of the structure to try and correct the problem?
they're going to, well, they're gonna have to take a permit out again. And then they're going to just remove the structure. There's 3 walls. They'll remove the structure, bring it around to another foundation, and then place it back down. And then they'll have to do some work on the one end to fill it back in.
And while it gets the offending part of the structure away from the property line, it changes it around, and there's a limit to how close how far away they can be from the property line.
Yes, and that's why that string line will be ran again. And once there's already a post there where the outside corner is going to be the very farthest out. And I will measure that square to the line and make sure that they're within 2 feet or better.
Okay,
This is a cautionary tale for why you should really need to know where your property lines are. Oh my gosh. What a, yeah, go ahead.
Can I give a comment?
Yes, you can. And
Well, when the shed was first built, his uncle, Sonny, he was asked if he knew where the property line was, and he showed us. And that's why,
of course,
instead of us getting it surveyed, so, you know, live and learn. But anyway, so far, so good.
no, and I fully appreciate that. And you think, you know, if somebody's family has owned that property for ever and ever and ever, or they built the home, they know where their property lines are. But we've run into this lots of times, not this bad a situation where, you know, that this is a real pain for you. But just housekeeping on, you know, where roads are and easements and everything else. And I think it goes back to a time, you know, where maybe people use chains and to figure out their lot lines, and things were done on handshakes. But thank you so much. Go ahead, Mr. Kretz.
So in regards to this.
My name's Faith,
Okay,
yes.
so yes, my uncle lives on that property, but of course, he's not a surveyor. The previous owner, Richard, he had a tree painted. And that's what kept Richard off of the property. He knew how far he could go technically for his opinion. There was also a line of rocks that followed the property line.
Yep, a rock fence.
A rock fence, not just big boulders, I guess. So at the time of the shed to be built, my uncle was asked if they could move the rocks out of the way, so they just pushed them in, which is fine. But there's a reason why those rocks were there, because that was the buffer zone.
Right.
But my question would be, to start, like I said, I don't want to do a lot of witch hunting here, but if there was an error on the survey, this is a 1998 survey of the properties, which is filed. So I don't understand why there's a file showing the property going in a different location.
That's way above our pay grade. I'm sorry.
No, that's
I
fine.
would
I'm
not,
just saying.
as somebody that's never done a survey or filed a survey, I think that's a question for perhaps the survey company.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I
Sure, yeah.
Mr. Simpson, he's retired now. He sold his business. Now you only have one legal land surveyor
Yep.
in the whole area. But this matches what is filed online. Anyone can find it. And it matches the current survey that was confirmed the sideline. So again, it didn't make any sense to how that came about, because in the township's bylaws, when you build, you're supposed to submit and build it off a legal survey and file that, and then it gets, the township should file that survey as well.
We don't require
I-
a survey.
I was gonna say this, I'm glad you just said that. We don't require a survey.
We require just the document to be signed confirming that these are the property lines.
It's called building form B. And what that does is it's up to the homeowner to show where the property lines are. They date and they sign it and it becomes a binding document. And, the fact that that the garage was already there, I didn't question it. Because the garage was issued, the permit was issued prior to my even starting here. And when the addition was going and they showed me the property line, everything looked in accordance.
Because when I look at the application to build the addition, the property line goes on a different angle than what the actual one is.
That's,
And the first owner, Richard, he had his 12 by 40 mobile placed on that site, which is approximately 10 acres of land. It's the exact same unit, which is on my property, because the family bought two identical mobile homes. When it was placed, Richard then had two additions put onto that. But his side yard distance, he showed the property, this was his property vertical like this, he showed 10 feet. The application for the addition shows the addition of 12 feet plus 10 plus feet, which is 22 plus feet. So there's discrepancies between how much side land you actually have.
okay.
So there's a
Well-
lot of confusion in there.
Again, a cautionary tale about why you need to know where your property begins and ends. Yeah,
Survey.
and I mean, all things being equal, we could demand every time Daryl gives out a building permit that you go and get a survey. But many people have their surveys and or they know where their pins are. And to say that we're gonna make you go and spend, as Mr. Gregson just said, there is only one survey company now. And depending on the size of survey that you need, you could be talking about $5,000, $10,000 before you even get a shovel in the ground. And I don't think when we want growth and we want you to be able to build a garage or an addition, we want you to be able to do things with your property. I'm not sure that's the best thing when we do have the provision in place that when you apply for a building permit, you sign that you know where you're in good faith. Right, so I don't think that's that we would have an appetite to do that. I think that we're adding a level of expense. We talk about development charges. So you want to build something and all of a sudden before you get a shovel in the ground, you have to pay 10 grand to the municipality, which we don't have here.
Just more red tape, right?
It's,
Yeah.
and expense, right? So, and I think that unfortunately, you are into an additional expense, even moving this addition, which is shame in itself. But maybe Daryl, what you can do from now on is just say, are you sure you know where you're?
Well, it's definitely making me change my way of thinking, because this has never happened in here.
No,
It's for 12 years, so.
and it really is a shame. And I mean, again, we've seen it without a building on it.
Yeah.
Right? Or a building that's on, we've had to give a minor variance because it's too close to one of our roads that isn't even in use. So we have, I mean, not to this degree. And I think that I think we've learned a good lesson here. But all right, anything else from council? Go ahead, John.
The map, which is a survey.
Yeah.
And was at the land registry office,
Yes.
and that was 1998, so that was completed, okay.
I will just verify on my paperwork to make sure I did it.
But it's incorrect.
It's 1998, June 23rd, filed by Mr. Simpson.
Okay.
And it shows, like I
That's-
said, it was a severance because the farm across the road, it was all one property. The owner, she lived in the trailer that I have, her daughter was living there, and she left one property on the other side for her son.
What up?
I'd
This is
be
just a-
pressed to find, when did the trailer originally go on? You said 98?
No, I said the survey was 98.
No, but when did
So I
the-
can't tell you when, I can look in Richards, because I have his application for putting it there. So I have all the applications for everything on the property, including the septic and the well and all that stuff.
Be hard pressed to even find that, because the record keeping back in the day is nothing like it is today.
That's why I'm saying, like, so much was done with a handshake or saying, yes, we went like this and that's your property.
But I believe if you look at it, it's applications through the township to have all that done.
And that's why we have people sign whatever form,
Building Form B.
building form B.
So then when you look at it, so when Mitch replaced his, actually, he did really place it, but the time when they put it there. So I have my CAD drawing here, which shows. The original structure, this top half here. Right? This is an addition that he put on up here. And then this half is another 12 by 40 mimic of the first half. But when you look back here, this corner is only 7 feet from the property line. This corner is 4 feet. When he built this next addition, he is 2 feet from the property line. Now, unfortunately, when Mr. Krafchick and Ms. Pankey built this, they were in violation long before they started.
Right,
And now when I talked to Mr. Krafchick, he wanted to save part of this, but I told him there's nothing to save. You're already in violation, so I told him he needs to contact the bylaw, see what he can do with that. But it won't make any sense, because he'll be right on the line if you save 2 feet of it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, I thought it was 3 feet, but, okay,
We're thinking it's gonna be 3, but because they had to go with the string through the building, we're
right,
like, what if it's 2.9? What if it's 2.5? So when you're getting into points, when you're getting into like,
yeah,
you know what I mean, fingers.
but
yeah.
even, yeah, okay.
Don't be surprised if those old measurements weren't struck out by paces,
They could have been,
you
It'll
know?
be
Okay.
at least 2 feet.
okay,
It may get all the way to 3, but it'll be somewhere between 2 and 3.
But the
All right.
zoning back, whenever the trailer went in, was probably different than it is today. We don't know, I don't know what the setbacks were, I don't know how.
Oh, yeah,
far
I know.
back it
yeah,
was.
that's a very
Could
good
be
point,
Totally different. You know, now it's 10 feet from the side, 25 front, back, and you're on water.
yeah,
And back then it could have been
Yeah.
4 or 5 feet. We don't know.
well, I think we've all learned something here. Does anybody have any other questions from council, sorry, committee of adjustment? We've got a council meeting, sorry, I just had that in my head. No, okay. No? Okay, okay, this therefore completes the public meeting process. Committee will give careful consideration to the arguments for and or against the minor variance requested for this property. Section 45(1) of the Planning Act sets out the 4 tests that are required to be met. In order to be approved, the application must meet all 4 tests. Does the application conform to the general intent and purpose of the official plan? Does the application conform to the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw? Is the application desirable for the appropriate development of the lands in question? Is the application minor? When determining if the application meets the 4 tests, the Committee of Adjustment will consider all comments and reports prior to making a decision. Is the committee prepared to make a decision for or against the minor variance? You ready? Everybody, are you ready? Or do you want more time or,
Good to go.
Good to go.
okay, and you're for or against?
4.
Tracy?
Or.
For,
Oh, we do have Meredith.
Yeah.
Meredith,
Here
are you,
all along. 4.
this is something else. The decision of the Committee of Adjustment will be circulated to the applicant and anyone who has submitted comments. Notice is hereby given that the last date for appealing the decision to the Ontario Land Tribunal is June 23rd, 2026. I declare this public meeting closed and adjourned at 5:39. Thank you, everybody.
Can I make an additional comment?
No, I'm sorry, we're adjourned. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Did
then
I miss you?
I'll just put it in writing, okay?
Okay. I'm sorry about
That's
that.
okay, that's okay.
Yeah. council or committee always gets the last word.
But
How
now that
we-
we're adjourned, can she just make a comment out of committee?
Oh, yes, yes, so if you can sign out and sign back into council.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, boy.